Hey everyone, and welcome to another Belly Strong workout. This is week 38 of pregnancy, your quick 15-minute workout. You'll just need a mat with you today and just a reminder to take things at your own pace. We're going to start in standing to warm up the legs a little bit. Nice wide feet, toes pointing outwards. You're coming down into a plie, keeping that torso upright and just swaying from side to side. As you sway, your toes are going to lift a little bit up off of that mat. So try not to let the knees come forwards. Keep the knees nice and open. And after a little bit of time here, you should start to feel those glutes, those quads, even those hamstrings working. The lower you go, the more you should feel it. But it's a good way to warm up the legs and just to start to get them working. Side to side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up out of that. We're going to do some hip extension movements here. If you need a chair for support, feel free to grab one or just place some fingertips on the wall. But both knees are bent. You're going to hinge forward and one leg is going to come up behind you. Keep both hips facing the mat, and it's a squeeze of the glutes as you lift the leg and come back down. Up and down. Squeeze up and down. Your bottom supporting leg is also going to be working here, so you might also feel it in that hamstring. If this single leg lift is exacerbating any sort of pain, you can also work the hamstrings by doing a double leg deadlift here. But if you can, single leg, keeping that supporting knee bent, squeezing the glutes as you lift one leg up behind you. Notice that I've got my hand on my belly. That's just to remind myself to keep my abdominals braced and core engaged, to not let my lower back arch too much. Last one. Back to center, other side, or keep with the double leg hinge if you're there. Slight bend in that knee and we lift. So you may notice on one side that the leg does not get nearly as high. That is the case for this right side of mine. I've got a little bit of low back pain on this side, so my body doesn't really handle these split leg positions too well when that right leg is in front, and so I just keep it in a range that is a bit more comfortable. Up and squeeze. Sometimes it can be difficult to decide whether you should exercise through pain or not. So check out our video on whether you should or shouldn't push through pain during exercise when pregnant for a little bit of guidance. 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back up to standing. If you need to, just release out those hips and that pelvis a bit with a bit of a wiggle before going back into that plie position. Nice and upright with that chest. And we plie down here and then sway from side to side, getting those toes to lift as we sway from side to side. Keep pushing those knees out. Relax the shoulders, shoulder blades down the back. Keep breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing up, moving on to that single leg lift or double leg hinge or deadlift. Both hips facing forwards. Brace those abs. Bend that bottom leg as you add that leg lift. Really focus on squeezing that glute at the top. And relax the shoulders. Whenever we put a lot of effort into something, often tension starts to creep up here. But we want to keep that chest open and shoulders relaxed as we concentrate on working the lower body. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transfer to the other side, making sure you're in a good starting position. Lift. Breathe. So this is our last movement in standing before we move down to an all fours position. Squeeze that hip at the top. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And give those hips a bit of a rub. We're going to move down to the mat into an all fours position. So you can just kneel down, one leg at a time, whatever is easiest for you. Place those hands on the mat. Settle into a middle neutral position with, as you guessed it, braced abdominals, and push out of those bottom shoulders. We're going into a bear hold from here. So toes tuck under. You're going to lift up into a bear position, hold for about 3 counts and come down. And we keep repeating up and down. If you find that your belly is starting to cone or look a bit pointy with that bear position, just practice your bracing and releasing. And that's also going to be a really helpful technique after you've delivered to help get things tight and stable again. But if you're doing the bear, you can come along with me. About 3 counts to hold and coming down. Keep tension in those abdominals. Find that the higher I lift my hips, so it's more of a high bear, it's a little bit easier rather than holding down here. And that's because I'm trying not to compromise my form. I want to make sure that my belly stays rounded rather than pointy. Almost there, 2 more. And down. And last one, hold. And down. So just sit back into child's pose for a moment here with knees wide as you open up that back, open up those hips. You can rock from side to side in this position. 3, 2, 1, and coming back up. We're just going to do 6 more bear holds before we move down into lying on our backs or an alternative position, which I'll go through. So start with that brace. You can keep this here if you're not going into bear. Otherwise, push up, hips up, 3 counts, and down. Try to keep pushing up out of those shoulders too. So you don't want to sink into those shoulders, because that can also cause a bit of unwanted tension in the upper back muscles, some of the neck muscles, and may aggravate pain there. 4, 2, left. Last one. And relax, shake out those wrists, give those shoulders a bit of a roll. We're going to move down onto our backs. So if it's just too uncomfortable for you to lie down flat on your back at this stage, you can put your back over the edge of a bench or a chair or a couch to keep that bit of you elevated. For today, I'm going to be down on the mat, and we're going to work on our glutes with some bridging. So have the feet just wider than hip distance apart. You can rock the pelvis forward and back a few times here before settling into that middle neutral position. Flatten the ribs as you exhale and create some tension in that abdominal region. Tuck the pelvis under as you push the hips up to the ceiling here. And we'll start with a simple down and up movement. Down as you come up, clench the buttock muscles, those glutes together. Down and up. Everything nice, slow and controlled. You can also bring arms up to the ceiling here if you feel like you don't need that hand support on the mat. Down and up. Weight is in the heels rather than the toes. Down and up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you need a bit of a break here, bring the hips down or keep them elevated. And we now do a hip drop on one side to then lift back up into that bridge. Down, lift back up. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying not to let my knees just fall outwards, but there's a little bit of tension on those inner thigh muscles as I almost squeeze my knees inwards, but I'm not allowing any movement. I'm just creating tension in those inner thigh muscles as if I'm squeezing something. Keep alternating. Eight more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then slowly lay that spine back down onto the mat and let the knees fall out here. So you're just opening up those hips, letting gravity take the knees down to the mat, but you've still got a bit of abdominal tension. You can also do this in a sitting position if it's too uncomfortable to do it lying on your back. And here, just give the glutes a little bit of a squeeze and then release. Squeeze and release. Keep that lower back close to the mat. One more squeeze and relax. Okay, you can turn onto your side and come back up in whichever way you can. It does get a bit more difficult getting up off the floor in this late stage of pregnancy, but that is the 15-minute workout done. Be sure to check out the 25-minute video. It's a little bit longer. We've got a few more strength exercises in there. Leave any feedback in the comments. I would love to know what you've thought of these workouts up until this point, and I'll see you again on another Belly Strong video.